me introduce to you the finest cookware in the world. Who here is health conscious? Who here is conscious? Yeah, well, you will definitely be more health conscious at the end of our show here. Folks, this is kitchen craft cookware, and it is unlike any other cookware you have ever seen. In fact, it has 7 different layers of metal, and 16 different elements go into its design, and its unique design allows us to cook our vegetables without the use of water, and it allows us to lock in the nutrients of our meat without using grease, fat, oil, butter, or lard. And I'm going to make up some quick chicken and potatoes here and show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so who here likes potatoes? You do? You know I love potatoes. I think a lot of us do. What state in the Union is famous for potatoes? Idaho? Yeah, exactly. You know, folks, I'm from Oregon, and unless I'm in Idaho, I like to let people know that the best potatoes in the world are actually grown in Oregon soil, and I just happen to have some right here. Now, before I put these delicious Oregon potatoes in the pan, what would I normally do? What would I normally do? That's right, I'd put a little bit of lube in there. Because if I didn't, what would happen? Right? They would scorch, burn, okay? If I want to cook my potatoes in a frying pan and not have them scorch or burn without oil in it, what do I need to do? Well, I'll tell you. I need to look for 3 different things. The first one is I need to find a pan with a big, heavy base. Now, this particular pan, like I said, has 7 different layers, and they don't just stop at the bottom, but they go all the way up the pan, all the way to the side, which creates even cooking throughout the pan. The second thing I do is I would look for a triple rolled edge in case I drop the pan so it won't warp or bend. And the third thing I'd look for, folks, is maybe the most important, right here, made in America, right? Who thinks we all should buy American so we all have jobs? That's right. So buy American, folks, whenever you can. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these in here. Now, this particular pan is a little bit shy in front of people, especially a big crowd like this. So I'm going to need a little bit of your help to encourage it to cook these fine potatoes. On the count of 3, everybody say cook. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Really? Come on, I've been to nursing homes with more enthusiasm than that. Let's do it. Let's give it a big cook. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, cook! Fantastic. That was much better. Live out there. Okay, now, who here likes chicken? Yeah, everybody likes chicken. That's great. So if I was going to put chicken in the pan next, what would normally go with fried chicken? Exactly, same thing we're talking about. Oil, grease, fat, butter, or lard. Because if I didn't, what would happen? That's right, it would stick to the pan. You know, anybody recognize this? Yeah, you know why they call that shortening? That's right, because it shortens our lives. That's right. You know, I have a friend who's a doctor, and he said, Rich, the next time you do one of your cooking shows, take a little bit of this shortening or lard or whatever you do and just stick it on the back of your hand just like that. And I said, well, why would I want to do that? Now my friend the doctor, who also happens to be a heart surgeon, he said, well, just see what it does. And I said, well, it's not going to do anything just sitting there on the back of my hand. And he said, exactly. He said, did you know that it takes 104 degrees temperature to get something like shortening to melt down into a solid and pure liquid that your body can absorb? And I said, well, that's not a problem, because what I do is I put it in the pan, I heat the pan up, and it melts in there. He says, yeah, but when it goes back into your body, it cools back down. I mean, what's our body temperature? Who knows what our body temperature is? It's 98 degrees, 98.6 degrees, right? So I said, well, that's kind of interesting and scary. What happens to the fat when it gets back in our bodies? I mean, what does that look like? And he says, well, you know, it actually looks something like this. He explained that when we're born, we have these beautiful arteries, just like this. You know, blood flows in, blood flows out, and then over the course of just a short time, we start increasing the blockage in our blood systems with things like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, In-N-Out Burger until we get to this point right here, and then it's over, right? And it's really sad because most of this is preventable. It's the #1 cause of death in the United States. And ladies, you've passed up men on the #1 cause of death. That's right, heart disease caused by things like McDonald's, Burger King, and it's all because we're all in a hurry. And you know who's passing everybody else up? That's right, kids. You know, a study that came out of the University of Kansas just 2 years ago said that the average 11-year-old boy, girl, child already has arteries that look like this. And who thinks that's from all the fast food and no time that we have to eat? Okay, who thinks like me and thinks that, well, what we should probably do is turn our houses back into homes and start eating around the table and start having a good time doing it together? Are you with me? Okay, great. Well, let's get some chicken. Let's have some fun time with this. Let's have a fun time with this. So, I just happen to have some juicy chicken. Now, here is a beautiful low-fat chicken breast. Now, I've removed all of the fat from the chicken breast. Now, why did I remove all of the fat? Okay? That's because 99% of the fat of a chicken breast is in the skin. And the skin is where the fat is. Now, who thinks all the flavor is in the skin? Is in the fat? Well, actually, it isn't. Try this. Take your chicken, cut the fat off, take just fat all by itself and cook it. And then taste that. You'll find that it has really no flavor at all, and if it does have flavor, you won't like it. You see, fat is the world's best sponge. So when we cook it with our meats, what happens is it absorbs the moisture and it absorbs the flavor of the meats that we're cooking with. And that's why it tastes good then. But if you really want your meat to be flavorful and full of moisture, cut the fat off. Okay, so on the count of 3, let's give this a little more encouragement. Okay, on the count of 3, we're all going to say cook. But of course, if you want Southern fried chicken, let's say y'all cook. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Y'all cook. Okay, beautiful. Okay, well, we'll get that going here in just a second. Now, I have one more thing. Who likes yams? Okay? You know, yams are fantastic. They're full of beta-carotene, super good for you. And the problem with yams is that they're about 4 times thicker than a potato, and it's really hard for them, and it's really hard to cook a yam. Look how beautiful that is. So it takes a while, but what I'm going to do is just to show you how the pan utilizes the heat from the side in and the top down and the bottom up. I'm going to stick this yam right in on top, right on top of the potatoes, and in just 15 minutes, I'm going to set this right here, we will have chicken, potatoes, and yams, and unbelievable, cooked without grease or water.